could face penalties ranging from 10,000 to 25,000 rupees. The bill further instructs that if local candidates do not have a secondary school certificate in Kannada, they should then pass a specified Kannada proficiency test. In cases where qualified local candidates are unavailable, industries, factories, establishments are required to collaborate with government agencies to train and engage local talent within 3 years. The management category includes supervisory, managerial, technical, operational, administrative and higher roles, excluding directors. The non-management category comprises clerical, unskilled, semi-skilled, skilled IT employees and contract or casual workers in various establishments. Now, who is a local candidate? How do you define a local candidate? On your screens right now, someone who's born in Karnataka, domiciled in the state for 15 years, fluent in Kannada, passes a required test by the nodal agency. Those are the criteria which you can read on your screens. Someone who is local. Now, the bill includes provisions for industries or establishments to apply for relaxations from the mandated quotas under certain conditions subject to government approval. Now, captains of industry, many well-known people from Bengaluru have criticized the move and on the grounds that it is self-limiting and also goes against the constitution.
This draft bill is draconian, illegal, unconstitutional, undemocratic and fascist because of the conditions the draft bill. Now they say we got a reserved job in private sector based upon whether you're local or otherwise, which is illegal against Article 19. When Haryana tried to do it, the High Court struck it down as unconstitutional. So I don't know why they're doing it. Second, look at the definition of local. A local is a person who is born in Karnataka, domiciled for minimum 15 years, who can read, speak and write Kannada. Okay. And if you don't have a Kannada as a third language in a school leaving certificate, it means that you have to pass a test from a nodal agency. Now look at me. Okay. I am born here. I've lived here all my life. I'm highly accomplished. I've done a very good job here. And if I go seek a job, if I don't have Kannada in my third language, I have to pass the test. Why should I pass the test? Who are there to tell me whether I'm a local or not? I'm a local. This state belongs to me. My city belongs to me. How can they define me and say this is a local? It's illegal. It's against the constitution, against the citizenship norms. And then they say you have taken nodal test. What test is that? Why should anybody take a test? Of course, I got third language Kannada in my school certificate, but I can speak Kannada, but I can't read and write as easily. They say fluently.
Biocon Limited Executive Chairperson Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw tweeted as follows, and she said, as a tech hub, we need skilled talent, and while the aim is to provide jobs for locals, we must not affect our leading position in technology by this move. There must be caveats that exempt highly skilled recruitment from this policy. After India Inc. called the move discriminatory and demanded it to be jung, Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar came out in its defense. Listen in to what he said before we go to the expert.
No investors has to worry. We want all investors to come to Karnataka. There are some certain sections of the people who are well talented outside the state. We want them to work in Karnataka. Karnataka population, especially Bangalore population, has gone 1.4 crores only because outsiders coming here. They are working here. We don't want to harm anyone. We are just looking, we will give them a scope. There are some suggestions which has come on this issue. We are just looking at it. There are various organizations, but we know the sentiments of various IT, BT people, technicians. We will just look at their anger. It is a subject which has come. There is a lot of issues on various reports which has come earlier. We will discuss with them. We know what Bangalore position is. We should keep, we are more worried than to the employer and the employee both.
So Kannadigas,
employer also should be there, Kannadigas also should be there. Where we can accommodate Kannadigas, where not we can give them free hand, that we will discuss and will come.
Chief Minister Siddaramaiah first said and later deleted the tweet. I do not know why. And he said that the Karnataka cabinet has mandated 100% reservation for Kannadigas in private firms for Group C and Group D posts. The move came following a cabinet meeting on Monday. And of course, what he has deleted from the platform X, he had said earlier, the cabinet meeting held yesterday approved a bill to make it mandatory to hire 100% Kannadigas for C and D grade posts in all private industries in the state. It is our government's wish that the Kannadigas should avoid being deprived of jobs in the land of Kannada and given an opportunity to build a comfortable life in the motherland. We are a pro-Kannada government. Our priority is to look after, I beg your pardon, the welfare of Kannadiga. There is no doubt that Siddaramaiah, salt of the earth, much like many other CMs, has always stood for the Kannadigas. And if you call your capital the IT hub, then are these rules even feasible? Let me go back to Priya and ask what she thinks about it. Priya, you're somebody who's not just well known in training, being a communicator, you also hire people. I know that it's all very well to be vocal for local, as Mr. Modi has said time and again. Haryana did it, pretty much like what Mohandas Pai said earlier. But doesn't it stymie the opportunities for a lot of people like Mohandas Pai, like I'm a Tamil, but I can't, I can read Tamil, but haltingly, that's about it. Does that mean that I can't get a job in Chennai, although I may be best suited for that particular job?
You've nailed it. So that this is going to be a very contentious topic. And I have to say that as somebody who's been in Karnataka for the last, almost 40 years, I can understand and I can appreciate the intention. So the intention is laudable. Kannadigas must get priority. We are sometimes, outrun by people from outside the state and sometimes outmatched in some ways. But this is clearly a social and political move and not an economic one. We do need to balance, the local interests with our constitutional freedoms. And that is something that I feel very strongly about. Answering your specific question, as a search consultant, for example, I have headhunted at CXO levels, which is what I focus on, across the world. So while I've looked at companies which are global, companies which are primarily Indian or based in India but multinational, I have hired from across the world and across India. So there has been no gap, and I must say that, and I must admit that Bangalore is a natural preference for many people. If you don't want to move out of your own hometown, one of the cities that do attract you is perhaps a Bombay or a Bangalore, and more
Sure.
Bangalore than anything else. So I get that. I do understand that there's a huge influx there. But this, I can tell you that, if we have melted down national lines, I've also dealt with international, where we've hired, people who are expats of Indian origin or others, it doesn't really matter.
Right.
How does meritocracy and the right kind of jobs rise? I'm again balancing this with the fact that I do understand the need for this, but this seems to be primarily politically charged rather than economically so. So my feeling is it does affect meritocracy, it does affect the quality of education, and the workforce also gets affected in the long run. Now, if you want to look at the armed forces or the cricket team, just imagine if we decided to have some kind of reservation there. It doesn't work. And I think this has been joked about by top leaders, and Azim Premji made the specific comment about this in the cricket team. But it is, while amusing, it also has a punch in terms of what we're trying to do as a nation. And the kind of, look at Bangalore. Look at our Kannadigas overseas. I mean, we are just everywhere. Look at our CEOs who have got top positions worldwide. Look at somebody like a Rishi Sunak who's just exited from Prime Minister of the UK. These are things which are unimaginable. And as nations are going increasingly nationalist, increasingly right wing, we are going to see a lot more similar kind of moves because people want to please their local population. And
right, and also, what I find, Priya, very, very strange is that if you are unable to find local talent, then you have to appeal to the government, and there is a waiting period. I mean, on my screen, I'm playing Kiran Majumdar Shaw, one of the stalwarts, one of the sheroes that one knows, and I don't think she's Kannadiga. She speaks Kannada, but Majumdar is, by the way, not a Bengali name here, but a Gujarati name. So, I just find it very, very strange that you have to seek so many permissions in order for you to really tweak the thing. Also, you have to sit for an exam, and a nodal agency will be holding the exam. I mean, am I being drafted into the army, or am I getting a job, Priya?
To answer your question, I've come from an armed forces background, Sudha. I grew up with my father, who, whenever asked, "Where are you from?" And I'm saying this without cliches, without trying to grandstand. I have heard till the time I was 18 that I am Indian. I have never heard where he was from. And I was 18 when I came to know what was his, where actually he came from. You asked me this question, and I said, no, they're actually born in undivided Pakistan. He was born in Karachi. So with the South Indian name, this is where I come from. Where do I come from?
Yeah.
Answer me, where do I come from? I'm an army brat. That's all I am. I define myself by being an Indian. And if at my age I can do that, I think we really need to be able to remember how we define ourselves.
So let me now, before I let you go, one final question, because it's also a political debate. I'll go to the other guests. But Priya, tell me something. How is it going to impact the job market, as it were? I mean, don't you think that there'll be a major problem now? There'll be protests, but that's a political thing, and I don't think you would want to take that question. But how will it impact the job market? Will it not limit it to a particular silo rather than make it more expansive, Priya?
There is no question that it will. I have a very strong doubt whether it will go through, because in its reaction, you've seen some of the tempering comments made by the Deputy Chief Minister saying this will not affect business. Don't forget, Bangalore is one of the top 3 income tax paying cities of India. And we also have the largest thrust on entrepreneurship. We have the largest number of unicorns anywhere in the country.
Right.
We are a city and a state which is very proud of its entrepreneurship and its economic development. And at the sidelines are Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, who, when there are 2 potholes, are saying, come to our state, we will give you excellent infrastructure.
Yeah.
So we are in a very competitive environment, and we have to wake up and see that. Again, balancing the laudable intention with the actual the impracticality of implementation is something we need to be able to understand.
All right.
If there is, I want to ask, is there been any conscious indication of Kannadigas being discriminated against?
Right.
We have seen what I would suggest is what we really need, instead of these barriers, is what we need, and I'm going to end with that, is we need pro-market policies. We need human skill development. We need stimulus packages so people who are unemployed at least get social security.
Exactly what Mohandas Pai said this morning when he was very passionate about the entire topic. He said, train your people, get them to be more skilled, exactly what you're saying. Thank you so much for making the time, Priya. I know you've had a very busy day. Thank you very much, Priya Chetty, Rajagopal there. And let's now move to the other aspect of it, which is the political debate. Vijay Prasad, spokesperson for the BJP in Karnataka, and Satya Prakash, spokesperson for the KPCC, have joined us now. Thank you for your patience. Gentlemen, Satyaji, let me come to you. What is this Kannadiga pride? This is self-pride of Kannadigas. DKS says that, okay, don't worry, although he's the one who's helming brand Bengaluru, he says nothing, it's not going to impact, but look at the rules and regulations. It's almost like I have to sit for my PUC exam, sir.
Good evening, Sudha.
Hi.
See, we need to look at it in a different perspective. Karnatakadalli Kannadigaನೆ Sarvabhauma. That means in Karnataka, Kannadiga is supreme. The problem is today we need to understand that the demography of Bangalore is changing very drastically over the last 10 years.
Okay.
And we have to understand why. The demography is changing on one side with an assault within the south, where a lot of migrants from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Kerala, Tamil Nadu are coming on one side, since we are surrounded by 4 states. The other migration is happening on from the north. Karnataka and Bangalore contributes to nearly 11% of all the jobs that are created.
Yeah, Satyaji, I know that, but the point is, I'm also, Bangalore is also my city. Then, train your people, make them more skillful, rather than saying, I'll give you a job if you pass a Kannada test, but someone else who's from some other state, maybe is perfect for the job, but he doesn't get the job. I think this is not Kannada pride. You are a Kannadiga, I'm a Tamil, but we are Indian at the end of the day, and we have a right to work in any city that we want to. That's why my whole problem is.
Bangalore and Karnataka have the best talent in India.
Right. So why are you making it so limiting? So are you going, should Kiran Mazumdar Shah also shift out, sir? I'm asking you.
Did I say so?
No,
Did I say so?
No, if someone, if a local Kannadiga says, I will set up instead of Biocon, will you say okay?
What we are saying is, when we contribute 11% of the total jobs in this country, when we contribute around 70% of all the tech jobs, We nearly contribute 24 to 25% of the software jobs in this country. The people of Karnataka also have,
But
have
it's
to get
not,
their
you
share.
know, the people who are contributing could be from different states, and that's what makes an
No.
IT hub. Vijay Prasad, I bring you here. Vijay
Not
Prasad
just
reminds me of the 70s when in Mumbai, the Shiva Sena had started a campaign to say anyone who's a South Indian should be asked to leave. Because South Indians were supposed to be bright, they were taking all the jobs of the Marathas. I am saying Article 14 and 16 of the Indian Constitution, which allows me to work anywhere, this is a direct onslaught on that. Vijay.
Hey, very good evening, Sudha.
Hi.
Before I start, one question I have for you, Sudha. Are you based out of Bangalore?
Who, me?
Yeah. Are you based out of Bangalore?
No, I'm not.
Okay. If you are based out of Bangalore, probably your job will be at stake now. But if you go by this, if you go by what Congress is going to do it, see when it I was hearing the other panelist, Priya. Okay, Priya Chetty, Rajgopal. See, to a certain extent, it is more than a political one rather than an economic one. See, when it comes to Kannada, Karnataka, Kannadiga, and water, see, BJP is always in the forefront. First, as a political person, as a spokesperson for BJP, what I would like to first tell is, let the bill be tabled in the assembly. Let it come for discussion. We have not seen what the Congress has included in the bill. We don't know the content as such. And see, we need to deliberate a lot.
Are you in support of this bill? Will you support the bill?
See, whether we support the bill or this one, first we need to understand what is there in the bill. No.
You have all the details. I'll put it up. I'll send you a. See, Vijay, as a main opposition, you need to also make it clear to me. No,
Sudha. First, see, if I have to discuss something on the bill, studio is not the place. First, I need to discuss on the floor of the house. On the floor of the house.
Fine. Then don't discuss. I'll go to Satya Prakash. You are here as a because I want your views on this, because your party is also for Kannadiga pride, Kannadiga self-pride. We are the Kannadigas. There are language rights which had happened. I am not going into all that. All I am saying is, Satyaji, I want to know, because you want to discuss it on the floor of the house, so it's okay. You are telling me I don't want to talk to a TV studio. Fine. Your wish. Democracy. Satyaji, I want to ask you that your IT industry, you know, it's called the Silicon Valley of India, sir. It is made up of a lot of people. You know, you take there are lots of people. So, you know, when you do this, is it because you have figured that the employment kind of statistics for the locals has really fallen over the years? Is it why you are doing it? So, my humble submission to you is, which Mohandas Pai also said this morning, is make your own people skillful, sir. Give them the education. Now, a Muslim child who's studying in a madrasa in Urdu does not know Kannada. Don't you think that you will keep all the minorities out then? Then he has to study Kannada compulsorily to get a job? What kind of a rule is this?
Sudha, we are a government for all. We are a government for all the people of Karnataka also. We have to take care of their interest also. We have to take care of the interest of the industry captains also. So it's a win-win situation for all. Don't all the industry captains want proper representation for people of Karnataka who have given them so much? They've sacrificed their land, they have sacrificed their resources, they have sacrificed their living space for all people across India. We are nowhere saying that they are not welcome here. All what we are saying is give us proper representation. Let Kannadigas be represented.
No, but you are giving them special. You are giving them special status, right? You are saying you are from which state? Karnataka, sir. Domicile, yes, sir. 15 years, Kannada, Gottu. I know how to speak Kannada. You say, where are you from? And that person is from a different state, does not know Kannada. You're already giving a kind of first mover advantage to that person, right? By doing that, over the years, don't you think you will weaken the working capacity of Kannadigas? They are the brightest on the earth. Why are you doing this, Satya Prakash? And I'm asking you, don't you foresee?
I will tell you, let the government made a rule recently Siddaramaiah said, let all the companies themselves give how many Kannadigas are there in their organization, but none of the companies came forward.
Why?
Now here is a doubt. I'll tell you why. Here there is a doubt that Karnataka and people of Kannadigas are not properly represented here. There is a doubt. Now what we have to do is, we have kept 50% for others also. No, we are not discriminating them. We are telling the jobs which are created in Karnataka, people of Karnataka and Kannadigas have a first right on that to an extent of 50%.
Okay, Satyaji, let me go to also
say.
Vijay, but Satyaji, I want to ask you, why did Siddaramaiah delete the tweet, sir? I saw the tweet in the morning, then he deleted it about 100% jobs in C and D category.
No. See, the 100% category in C and D is a different law altogether.
I'm talking about
The
different
law
thing
that
only.
we are going to introduce here is for A and B. C and D, maybe they're trying to bring a separate one. I don't know.
Oh, so he's going back on it, huh? Already, Satya? He's going back on it.
We are not going back on it. We will make sure that it is a different law. Maybe I don't have information. Is all I'm saying.
I get you. I can read between. I can read the tea leaves very well. Vijay Prasad, I want to ask you. Vijay Prasad, I want to ask you.
Yes.
Who's going to be responsible if there are going to be some kind of trouble which will start in Bengaluru? You know, where people from other states have studied there. You know, they have studied there, they got married there, they are working there, their children are going to schools there. Suddenly they feel completely discriminated because, again, Article 14 of the Constitution, this is a violation. I think in 2016, Siddaramaiah tried doing the same thing, but he failed. The court said you can't.
Yes.
Remember?
See, this is exactly, Sudha, this is exactly what I would like to ask the Congress. In the last 1 year, how many industries Congress has attracted to Bangalore and Karnataka? And what is the amount of foreign direct investment that has brought into Bangalore and Karnataka? See, Bangalore being the unicorn capital of the country, so we need to stand there. See, when we exited in 2023, the foreign direct investment was close to around 33% of the India's FDI. 33% used to come to Karnataka. Today the FDI inflow into Karnataka.
I ask you a question, you go to some other statistics, Vijay Prasad, then you blame me. I am asking you if there is some trouble in Bengaluru, which is a peaceful city, who's responsible?
See, the government should be responsible for this because it is creating a kind of anarchy situation. And I need to ask Congress, it is the timing of the bringing of this bill.
Okay.
See, the timing of the bill is getting questioned. Why? Because this assembly has started only 2 days back. And Congress on the floor of the House is getting defeated left, right, and center.
Okay.
To overcome this one, to take the limelight away from this assembly, to take the
you know, Vijay Prasad, the future of lakhs of Kannadigas is more important than the politics that plays out in a house. Vidhana Sauda, you can shout, doesn't matter. I am asking you, you listen to me, sir, politely. I am making a humble submission. If there is some trouble, you say the government is to be blamed. I am asking you before letting you go, sir. Vijay, I can't shout so much. I am not used to shouting. I am asking you, does your government, do you as member of the BJP support vocal for local, give jobs to Kannadigas only?
Let the bill be tabled in the House,
Right.
First, let the bill be tabled.
Do you support jobs for Kannadigas only, Vijay?
We need to see the bill. See, in the beginning of the discussion itself,
all right, you see the bill and maybe then I'll talk to you, but as of now I've completely run out of time. Satya Prakash, thank you so much as always for joining us, and Vijay Prasad, thank you very much, sir, for making the time to join us on this. And this issue is not going anywhere. It's going to be contentious. And the BJP spokesperson, as always, is being very, very careful. He says, let us see the bill first and then maybe we can discuss. The bill is pretty much same as what you saw on my screen right now. But they are not going to say, because they are also somebody who will say that only jobs for Kannadigas in Karnataka. So they are caught between the devil and the deep sea. And let's move on. What's our next story? It's on Andhra Pradesh. The Chandrababu Naidu government throws out Jagan's land titling act. That's coming up after a short break. Do stay with us.
how do you fulfill that promise? Because ultimately expectations have to be met. If you look at the political landscape, is it really changing for women? And what is the inability of the forces that dead bodies surface but not the living people?
जानना है तो देखिए, समझना है तो सुनिए, सीखना है तो पूछिए, और कमाना है तो खरीदिए। जानकारी, सलाह और निवेश सब एक ही सुपर ऐप पर। पैसे का सवाल है तो जवाब है Money9। आजादी पैसे की, अभी डाउनलोड करें।
For the very first time in our investigation, we unmasked the killer of Ravindra Matre.
In 5G, we have to stand with the world, and in 6G, we have to lead the world.
Winning a Grammy was an absolutely surreal experience.
$20,000 people dead and counting. What's happening in the United States of America is unprecedented. You will have to pay for this.
All right, our next focus is on Chandrababu Naidu's government. Naidu government throws out Jagan's Land Titling Act. That's our next story during campaigning. I wonder if you recall, but I recall clearly how the current Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, Chandrababu Naidu, had shred to pieces the Gazette notification order of the Land Titling Act as mooted by the erstwhile Jagan Reddy government. Continuing with its mission of correcting what the Naidu government described as loot by the YSRCP government, which includes illegal sand mining and the lavish Rushikonda project, the Andhra Pradesh cabinet has approved the proposal to repeal the Land Titling Act, which Naidu described as a land grabbing exercise by Jagan Mohan Reddy and his government. Naidu's government said, and I am quoting the government here, the small and marginal farmers and the owners of parcels of residential lands were afraid of what would happen to their property, since the Act laid down that the owners should be given only copies and the original document should be kept with the government at the time of conferring the title to the land. That's what this government says. But we need to look at what exactly is the Land Titling Act. I mean, I'm going to give you a basic of what the Land Titling Act is. Passed by state legislature in September 2022. It's based on a model suggested by the Niti Aayog. Conclusive, guaranteed title of property to the owner. It's supposedly modern, secured, digital and real-time land information system. Facilitates fast and secure transactions in property, creation and maintenance of real-time data. But the Telugu Desam party, led by Chandrababu Naidu, alleged that the so-called claims of transparency was a mere excuse for the government to control the land of lakhs of farmers in the state and strip them of their lands. The other important decision taken by the TDP government is, of course, making tenant farmers eligible for crop loans. According to the government, farm loans had not been advanced to the BCs, SCs and STs who mainly constitute tenant farmers and which had put them under severe distress. Even as Naidu is moving with great speed in reversing what the YSRCP government has done, will he get the support, the required support rather, from the centre to improve his state's financial health? That's the question that we are asking. Let's debate. Joining me on this debate is Deepak Reddy, the national spokesperson for the Telugu Desam party. We are also awaiting a representative from the YSRCP. But as of now, Deepak Reddy, very warm welcome to you, Deepak. Good to have you. So,
good evening.
Hello, Namaskar. The thing is that Niti Aayog moots it, and also the Dharani portal, of course, in Telangana, that also happens to be the inspiration. The larger question is that land records, who owns the land, what are the specifications of it all. It said that it will be very transparent. But according to your government, today you repealed it. You say it's nothing but grabbing. So I want you to start, and I have some other questions on this aspect as well.
Perfect. Let me just give you a brief introduction so that everybody can get a clear idea on what the motive behind this was. The draft suggestion given by Niti Aayog, if it was followed, we would not have any problem. There has been a substantial departure from the suggestions given in that draft. So here the issue was the government wanted to survey the entire, resurvey the entire land in Andhra Pradesh. Stones looking like tombstones with Jagan's image etched on it, and then they wanted to issue fresh passbooks, and the original would be kept with the government. The landowner would be given only a Xerox copy and with Jagan's images on that. So this is what their idea was. And the worst part is, if at all there is any issue, the people can go only to something called a land title registration officer. And that officer, they haven't specified that he is a government officer of certain stature or anything. They said he can be of anybody. He can be a private person.
So are you, Deepak, I'm sorry because I read through it. You say that, anyone can be posted as a land registration officer. So he does not have what is called a skill-based title to evaluate. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, exactly. So it can be, they just left it open-ended. It can be anybody.
Right.
So it can be a private person also they can appoint without any qualification. Qualification also hasn't been, specified there. And worst off, if there is an issue for a farmer or any poor person, he cannot go to the local court and he has to abide by the decision of this land titling officer and directly go to the High Court.
High Court,
How many
yes.
farmers have how many farmers really have the money to go to the High Court? So this was an exercise where a lot of lands, which were government lands, which were given out as Lavanya Patta to steal, because there were thousands of acres given out to SC and STs.
Right.
Already that process has started
All right.
off.
Okay.
This is what has happened in Andhra Pradesh.
All right. Narayana Murthy, spokesperson for the YSRCP. Mr. Narayana Murthy, a warm welcome. The Land Titling Act has been repealed by the Naidu government. They say it was only a method to kind of grab land, whereas your government kept saying there will be transparency, they will be digitized. Of course, two passbooks, the original and the one with the farmer. What is your first reaction to the act being repealed?
Who has introduced the Land Titling Act? Can you tell me, madam?
Sorry?
Can they? Who introduced the Land Titling Act?
Yeah, fine. Okay. I know.
Who introduced it? Central government. For your information. For their information. It is introduced by the central government. We must mind it. Without knowing that.
But you added.
All allegations on
I'll leave it to Deepak to defend himself.
With the concurrence of the central government and officials of the central government, it has been introduced. That they must know that. Without that, to only throw the mud on the government or Jagan Mohan Reddy, they propagated all false information. They must know that first. This is not the way to cheat Andhra Pradesh people. If you have
all right. Okay.
Game,
Deepak, you heard what Narayana Murthy sir said, which I also started by saying that it was the Niti Aayog. He says
they published, manipulated. This is all wrong way to come to the power, for your information.
All right. Let Deepak come in here, Deepak.
As usual, Mr. Narayan Murthy is in his finest in trying to mislead and give wrong information. Let me tell you one thing very clearly. Whatever has been the draft which has been given by Niti Aayog, it was not carried forward as is, whereas there have been a lot of changes made in that, which would go against the interest of the common man and the poor farmer.
Why don't you have patience to listen? Why don't you have patience to listen to the
draft has never suggested a survey to be done where tombstones
Don't you
have to
have
be
the
erected
patience
in
to
every
listen
corner
opposition?
with
Please listen the argument of the
image
opposition.
edged
You
onto
are
each
trying to
stone.
kill
They haven't
the,
said that. They
you
haven't
are
said
trying
that
to kill
the
justice,
original document or
truth
the
in
land
Andhra Pradesh.
should not be
Everybody
given to the
knows
farmer,
that.
and you
Every
keep the
day this
original
is
document.
happening around the Andhra Pradesh. You are killing people.
Well, let
You
me
are
tell you
killing
one thing.
girls.
If the original
There are
document
many
is
rapes
not
are
given,
happening.
No, no,
do
no,
you
no, no,
think
no, no.
any
This you
bank
are
is going to
Narayana
give a
Murthy,
loan?
sir.
There are burnings are
Let's stick
happening.
to the topic,
Burnings
sir.
are happening.
Narayana
This is
Murthy
what
Garu.
this is what your government doing.
Mr.
Central government
Narayan
also
Murthy
not
has a
knowing this.
habit
Even though they know, they don't
of
talk anything.
interrupting during a
This is
debate.
how. This is how
Whenever
the
he's on the
government.
back foot,
This
this
is
is
how
his
you got
modus
the power.
operandi. He
This
doesn't
is
let
for
the
you
other
got the
person
power.
speak, and he
But
would
what
be
for you got the
continuously
power?
talking without hearing the facts,
No,
without the
to
people
encourage the
understanding what
rapes,
the facts
to
are.
encourage the murder.
Murthy, please wait your turn. Deepak, go ahead, because this is an issue that central government mooted by Niti Aayog. You say that if it had been done in the same avatar, we would have had no problems. But the thing is, you need to tell the viewers where exactly did the tweaking happen, and therefore you have now thrown it out of, the bag, as it were.
Sudhaji, let me tell you one thing. Land ownership is a very sensitive issue.
It is.
Some of the properties are given for generations, they're passed down. So the very fact that Jagan Mohan Reddy is taking back the passbook and issuing a new passbook with his image on it gave a degree of discomfort to the people. People want the assurance of the government, not of Jagan Mohan Reddy. Similarly, the stones which have been which were supposed to be erected across the state has his images etched onto it. Who is he? Are we living in his fiefdom? We are living in a democratic setup. I mean, he has no right over the land document and the lands of the people. He can't edge his images and put his photos on the documentation. Most importantly,
but Mr. Modi also put his photos on vaccination and several other forms. What is wrong with that, Deepak Garu? You should not have a problem about the photograph, right?
That is not a problem. Sudhaji, that is not a problem. Here, this is a document what you're going to keep for life and pass it down to generations.
Okay.
Jagan Mohan Reddy is going to go out of power in about 3 years. Now he's already out of power. And do the people really keep this document?
But that's a minor thing, Deepak ji. Talk about the major thing.
I'm coming. The most important point here is he wanted to retain the documents, the original documents with him. I mean, people are uncomfortable. They want the original documents to be given to them. A copy would be given to the people. This is something what people were.
It's only fair that I go to Narayana Murthy here. Deepak ji, just a minute. Narayana Murthy Garu, you heard what Deepak Reddy said. He said, why are you keeping the original documents, land documents? For all of us, it's very precious.
That is what. This is false. This is a false propaganda they made over all AP and in the people minds. This is wrong, I said. Even Chandrababu Naidu, brother-in-law Balakrishna bought some lands, but they got without any photo on them, and at the same time original documents. They don't accept it. They could not prove it that they did get the original document. Now they are telling again same story to the channel.
All right, I am asking Narayana Murthy sir, I want to ask you another question about tenant farmers. No, wait a minute, sir. You have to listen also. No. Now, tenant farmers, Naidu's government is now saying that they can get crop loans because a lot of them are very poor. Do you think it's a positive step or not?
Well, no, everybody is getting, no, as usual.
Tenant farmers never got. No, sir. Tenant farmers never got it.
No,
they could, no, sir. They could never get loans, and a lot of them are extremely poor.
That's what I'm telling. This is how false propaganda they are making around.
Okay.
They are killing truth. They are killing democracy.
Mr. Reddy, please come in here, because tenant farmers, it's a very important issue and an issue which is very sensitive, particularly to unified Andhra Pradesh. We all know the history, right? Land is something which is very important. You say that now tenant farmers who are poor, marginalized, they don't have any agency, they can also go for crop loans, which is a positive step. YSRCP spokesperson says, again, false propaganda.
Sudhaji, just before the election, the tagline for YCP party was, why not 175? So they said they would be winning 175 of 175, and they were not even given 11 seats. Why? Because of the blatant lies they put forward. So after a time, no matter what, on every debate, this is what used to happen. They would come out with exactly opposite of what the actual realities were. So people got really, so whatever they say, I mean, you cannot really trust that unless they come out with some documentation and show, which they would never show. So that is why the farmers also have rejected them, because they were not, justice was not done. A simple example, each of the budget I was seeing, they came out with the 2,000 or 3,000 crore stabilization plan, and they never gave a single rupee in the 5-year period. So they were blatantly lying in almost every aspect, and that is the reason they were thrown out. As usual, old habits die hard. So what you said is absolutely true. Earlier, tenant farmers, certain sections were not being benefited by this, but now under our government, they are going to receive benefits as the owners.
All right. And on that note, thank you very much, Mr. Narayan Murthy, and also Deepak Reddy for joining us on the broadcast. That's all the time I have for this particular debate on how Naidu has repealed the Land Titling Act in Andhra Pradesh. And as promised, I'll leave you with some of the other top headlines from the south of India. Thank you for watching. Vanakkam.
am I?
Nobody can crack that mystery.
There is a certain expectation of me.
That's the only contradiction.
Life itself is stranger than fiction.
I was a perfectly normal person born in an abnormal world.
I really didn't understand why is it different.
Just imagine a child who is bullied every day.
Boys school में कुछ लड़का लोग मेरे साथ sexual abuse किए.
मुझे तेरे बारे में सब पता है और मैं तेरा रेप कर दूँगा.
You also start to stigmatize.
अरे ये तो time pass है.
Sex doesn't come in the picture. Sex comes very late. Then there are man-made narratives.
Why do you walk like that? Why do you sway so much? So you can understand the trauma of a person who's trapped in a wrong body.
But nothing can bind life.
We have to reclaim the lost position. We fought for more than 10 years.
Today I'm the mother of the industry.
I'm a first transgender member judge.
You can't walk in everybody's shoes.
This is what I'm comfortable with. They just are what they are.
You become the light yourself.
That is the change that I was looking for.
When I recognize myself, it's a small story, but it's an interesting one.
India's pivot from an agri and services-oriented economy to a services plus manufacturing economy is likely to get a further boost in the upcoming union budget. In the China Plus One New World Order, India is keen to position itself as the factory of the world, an ambition Prime Minister Narendra Modi has nurtured from his very first term in office all the way back in 2014. Themes like Make in India, as well as the later introduced production-linked incentives, could get a shot in the arm as Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman presents her 7th union budget on the 23rd of July. So if you're looking at setting up a factory, some tax advantages may be coming your way. As per reports, the Finance Ministry is likely to extend the concessional 15% corporate tax rate for new manufacturing facilities. This reduced tax rate was first introduced way back in September 2019 to attract investments and support the Make in India initiative. But the